The North Bund is located at the junction of the Hongkou River and Suzhou Creek to form a golden triangle for Shanghai's development with Lujiazui and the Bund.
What is this place?
With a history of shipping for more than 170 years, the North Bund is also the birthplace of Shanghai's modern shipping industry. More than 4,700 various shipping enterprises have settled in the North Bund, featuring a cluster of headquarters and high-end services.
Financial industry featuring wealth management has become the new signature industry of the North Bund. There are more than 1,500 financial companies with asset management scale exceeding 5 trillion yuan.
The future Shanghai is bound to be the world's meeting room. Every inch of land at the 4 square kilometer North Bund has great value and huge potential.
Welcome to the North Bund. Here is our overall solution to the development of the group headquarters and the needs of our staff. I hope we will have further cooperation.
R20 et l'hiver c'est quand il fait
Truly North Bund, like never before.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to all domestic guests and good morning to our guests overseas. Welcome to today's online webinar, Policy Introduction on MIC's Regional Headquarters and R&D Center. This is the Center District of Shanghai, Hongkou District. We are now live from St. Mars Plaza in North Bund. This is the tallest building in west coast of Hongkou River. We are now facing the great view of Lujiazui Financial District and the Bund. I'm Nate, the moderator of today's event. I'm from Sapience Pro Advisory, and we provide full China entry solution. This is the third webinar of our Drive Global Investment, Share Hongkou's Future series. We are aiming at helping our global investor gain a comprehensive understanding of China's further opening up policy and investment environment of Hongkou District. Shanghai is a top global performer in creating business-friendly environment. With the advanced digital economy, advantageous tax policy, and a highly educated workforce, Shanghai is an ideal city for multinational companies to establish regional headquarters and R&D centers. Today, our guest speakers will share more details on how to navigate the local policy. Please allow me to introduce the first speaker, Johnson Zhang from Invest Shanghai. He will introduce the key investment industry.
Hello, everyone. This is Johnson from Invest Shanghai. I'm very pleased to be invited to this session and to show you a general picture of new infrastructure development. And meanwhile, shed light on related business opportunities in Shanghai and Hongkou District as well. So what does the new infrastructure stand for? Let's take a quick look. The new infrastructure was first defined by NDRC, the National Development and Reform Commission, on April 20th, amid COVID-19 outbreak, which refers to a new type of infrastructure guided by new development concepts. In general, the new infrastructure mainly covers 5 aspects: telecommunication networks, new technology, computing power, converged infrastructure, and innovative infrastructure. As for new infrastructure, although it includes some material facilities such as 5G networks and data centers, it is more often in virtual forms such as apps and tends to be digital, internet-based, and intelligent, and pretty much different from traditional infrastructure such as railways, roads, and airports. It is widely believed that many industries will be influenced by the new infrastructure in a profound way. For example, new infrastructure will enhance urban management efficiency, facilitate flexible industrial production, boost agricultural production, optimize the allocation of medical resources and power supplies, and etc. So coming up next is the national and Shanghai's planning for the new infrastructure construction in the next few years. To achieve all-round social and economic development, China is accelerating the construction of new infrastructure in 6 sectors, ranging from 5G networks to charging stations, each with corresponding target to be hit by 2025. For example, more than 550,000 5G base stations will be built this year. And to echo with the national call, Shanghai has also set its ambitious goal. First, Shanghai is expected to see 270 billion RMB, the equivalent of $38.1 billion worth of investment in 48 key projects in the new infrastructure realm over the next 3 years. And to this end, the municipal government has announced the 35-point action plan for the purpose of promoting the construction of new infrastructure. The investment will take a private-public partnership approach, with roughly 60 billion RMB coming from the local authority and the remaining 210 billion RMB as social capital, which will generate plenty for business opportunities for foreign companies. This policy aims to help Shanghai take the lead in becoming a world-class benchmark for new generation information infrastructure. And down to the district level, Hongkou District has shifted its focus from traditional infrastructure and is now endeavoring to build up a pioneering demonstration zone for comprehensive 5G application, first of its kind in the world. Meanwhile, the district has launched a series of incentives and policies to support and attract 5G innovation, hubs and parks, enterprises and talents from home and abroad. So these measures include, but not limited to, the following: fiscal and financial support for newly recognized 5G-related functional platforms, innovation hubs, regional headquarters, key enterprises and projects featuring innovation and demonstration. Subsidies for influential industry conventions and conferences are available. Up to 3-year rent subsidies for qualified 5G talents and experts will be provided. And in addition, Hongkou District 5G Development Fund will be set up soon. The support for corporate financing and listing in the local financial markets will also be provided. So details of These policies and incentives could be obtained from Hongkou District government per request. And a remarkable geographical location, vibrant business environment, rich application scenarios, combined with strong commitment to embrace new infrastructure, Hongkou District, especially the North Bund area, has become a great place for high-tech businesses to invest and develop. And 3 nice commercial buildings have been put into operation. So the first one is the 5G Global Innovation Port. And the second one is Cinemas Plaza. And the third one, the BMW Group R&D Center. And you will be briefed on these facilities by another speaker in the latter half of this session. Thank you for listening. And here's my contact information. Or you could scan the QR code to explore the official account of Invest Shanghai for more details. Thank you.
Thanks for Johnson's introduction. Let's welcome partner of Jin Mao Law Firm, Danny Huang, to give the speech of policy interpretation of regional headquarters and R&D centers of multinational companies in Shanghai.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. And it's my glad and honor to be here this afternoon to give this lecture speech actually to everyone here. So today's topic is about the policy of the regional headquarters and R&D centers of multinational companies in Shanghai. So before we give in this policy interpretation, I want to introduce a little bit about the policy background and the history of the foreign investment to help you to understand the whole background of the policy. So back in 10 years ago, China has really strict policy control and also the interest requirements on the foreign investment in terms of the interest requirement and the approval process. But that's back in 10 years ago. And after 10 years reform and opening about the foreign investment, nowadays those process and interest requirements has been largely reduced. And as you may have already known, back in 10 years ago, it's called approval on the foreign investment by the MOFCOM. And right now, it's only you need to do is only about the information report before you're going to the government authorities to do the registration of the entity. And also, back in 10 years ago, we are using the catalog of foreign investment entries requirements. But now we only use a negative list of the foreign investment. Especially in free trade zone, we use a more easier and a released a list of negative items, which is prohibited or restricted by the foreign investment to go into China. So you can see a lot of reform and the developments has been made throughout these years, so which make foreign investment is booming here in China, especially in Shanghai. So we can see a series data here. So by the end of this April, there are already 730 regional headquarters and also 466 R&D centers have been established in Shanghai, and which makes Shanghai remains the most concentrated city for headquarters of MNC in mainland China. So that's a very remarkable data and achievement that Shanghai government has received. Okay, let's move on to the next part. Let's talk about a little bit about the MNC's regional headquarters. So what is an MNC's regional headquarters? It must be an independent legal entity. Yeah, it's very understandable. To be held by an overseas parent company, which is the sole shareholder of it. And it should be authorized by the shareholder company, which is the parent company, for some functions like service and management in the respective regions. And also, you can look in the chart on the right side. The management and the service function can not only extended to the onshore entities and group members, can also be extended to the overseas group members and entities, which means you can use this regional headquarters established in Shanghai to extend its function and management roles to the overseas countries like Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Singapore, etc. And also for the R&D center, it's a little bit different from the R&D compared with the regional headquarters. An R&D center can be established in either form of a independent legal entity, or even it is only an internal department or internal branch of the company itself to deliver its function of research and development. But for the current policy in Shanghai, with respect to the R&D center, the Shanghai government encourages and intends the R&D center to be established in the form as an independent legal entity, and we will introduce a lot of preferential policies in the following several slides to show that the Shanghai government really encourages the legal independent entity R&D center to enjoy those preferential policies. Okay, so for recognizing the MNC's regional headquarters and R&D center, the Shanghai Municipal Commission of Commerce is taking the charge of doing so. So you may submit all the application documents and complete the process with this single government authority. So what needs to be met for the requirements of or to be an MNC's regional headquarters? Firstly, as previously mentioned, it should be an independent legal entity anyway, and should be authorized by the parent company to perform some functions, management functions, and service functions, such as the fund settlement, the procurement, sales, logistics, and R&D and training, etc. And also for such a parent company, it should have no less than it should have a total assets number no less than 200 million US dollars. And also for the regional headquarter entity itself, the registered capital for it should no less than US dollars 2 million. And compared with the regional headquarter, the requirements of the R&D center is a little bit simpler compared with the regional headquarters. So yeah, it's understandable for for the R&D center, you have the fixed premises, the instruments and the equipments to engage in the research and development projects. That's very understandable. And also, the investment used for such research and development business should be no less than 2 million US dollars. And also, it has requirements on the staff and the number of personnel of such R&D center, which is 80% of the total staff should be acquiring this degree, at least a bachelor degree or a higher degree, and directly engage in the research and development activities. Okay, let's move on to the next part for introduction of the some main beneficial policies which will be entitled to MNC's regional headquarters and R&D centers. So actually, there are a lot of beneficial policies and treatment that MNC's regional headquarters and R&D centers can enjoy. But here we list some most important ones. The first one is the startup subsidy, which is up to 5 million RMB, which is given to the regional headquarter entity itself. But you will need to meet several requirements like we listed here. The first one for the startup subsidy for the regional headquarters, it should be meet the requirements of paid-in registered capital for over US dollars 30 million. So which means you will need to put in a real capital into the regional headquarters entity for over 30 million US dollars before you can get the startup subsidy. And for the R&D center, they will require a 50 personnel, 50 numbers of staff for the R&D center. And for the second one, the rental subsidy, which is up to 30% of the rental for 3 years. There are only several requirements on it, which is you can see here for how big your office is and the unit rental per square meter and per day for the office you rent. So for regional headquarters, except from that, and also besides on that, you will also need to complete the obligation of paid-in registration capital for over 2 million US dollars and with 10 or more employees. And for the R&D center, that's the same requirement as the startup subsidy, which is 50 R&D personnel. The third one is the operation reward. The operation reward is divided into different levels based on different number of annual turnover of the regional headquarters it can attain. So you can see the calculation should be based on different range of the annual turnover. So here listed very detailed. It's here listed in very detailed the numbers you can get for the operation reward. Okay, so apart from that, some main beneficial policies for the MNC regional headquarters and R&Ds, we want to extend a little bit into the MNC's regional headquarters benefits. So it's a very large advantage for the MNC's regional headquarters to operate their business and operate their funds, which is actually the fund using in the country, and also not as well in the country, also in the area it can be extended. So you can see a lot of monetary benefits and preferential policies you can use here for the MNC's regional headquarters. You can open a cross-border fund pool and also the free trade accounts, which we're more familiar with the FT accounts, right? And also the domestic multiple currency main account. And let's move to the third column here. A regional headquarters with good creditworthiness will be included in the recommended list and enjoy offshore trade facilitation policies. This is another very good advantage for the MNC's regional headquarters they can take. And also it can enjoy simplified process for non-trade foreign currency payment and tax counseling and assessment services. So this will give MNC's regional headquarters a very large space for them to utilize their funds in and out, onshore and offshore, and within their group companies, not only for the onshore entities within their group, and also their offshore group entities, which we have mentioned in their extended areas like Japan, Korea, and Southern Asia. And you can also see here, if you are recognized as a MNC's regional headquarters, you can also be supported to issue shares and bond for financing issues, and use commercial drafts and carry out securities investment. So this is also very good aspect for the MNC's regional headquarters to do their financing or refinancing business. Also the facilitate funds using and investment in domestic security markets by foreign employees. That's all these are different from the normal foreign investment entities, and it will be considered by a lot of big Fortune 500 companies overseas. So to open up a investment company or foreign invested company here to acquire this MNC regional headquarters qualification. Also, apart from that, we just mentioned all these monetary beneficials about the MNC's regional headquarters, and also they have other benefits they can get or enjoy for these regional headquarters. Here we list some about the trade and logistics. If you're a trading company or if your business business scope contains like sales and import and export, you will be largely beneficial from it. You can see here, if you're recognized as an MNC's regional headquarters, you can do a lot of self-service things in the process of getting origin, export, and import certificates, and also carry out one-stop handling of the process of registration, customs clearance, and tax reduction, and some other process, and also facilitate logistics consolidation by distribution centers established by such regional headquarters. And this is about the staff benefits and personnel benefits. It's also a very important aspect that to be considered by foreign entities to open up a company here and get the qualification of regional headquarters. So you can see here, for personnel and the staff of the regional headquarters, it can enjoy a very simpler and simplified process in terms of the entry visa, the residence permit, the work permit, or even the permanent residence permit for foreign employees, as well as to their spouse and the children who are together with them in Shanghai here, and for living and for school, for training, for other training, and also family services. So we have listed a lot of benefits and preferential policies for the MNC regional headquarters. And here we listed some benefits for R&D centers. And we can focus on the item 1 and item 3 here. So for the R&D centers, it can be recognized as an enterprise technology center by the Shanghai government once a year. Such kind of recognition will be conducted by the Shanghai government once a year to be recognized as an enterprise technology center. Once you are recognized, a total amount of up to 3 million RMB will be given as a subsidy to these entities. But the Shanghai government really does have some requirements on such enterprise technology center, but they are not normal R&D centers. You will need to show to them about the application documents, like the revenue of your main business, and also your expenses and how much expenses you've been spent in your research and development services. So something like that, yeah. And also we can take a look at item 3. A total amount of RMB 250,000 would be given as a subsidy, as kind of subsidy to the invention patent authorized through PCT. So here the PCT is called Patent Cooperation Treaty. So it's a treaty signed by China and some other countries, which means the applicant, the R&D centers as an applicant to submit such a patent application to the National Intellectual and Property Bureau. And the Intellectual Property Bureau will review your application verified and applied and registered. And they will deliver upon the application of the applicant to some other treaty countries. And which means it's a simplified process for making application to other countries by the applicant through the PCT, this treaty. And the subsidy of 250,000 would be given based on how many patents you've been submitted to the National IP Bureau and how many patents you've been delivered through them to some other countries. So basically, these are R&D centers benefits and also the previous benefits introduction of the regional headquarters. So here we can, due to the time limits, we can only introduce a little bit about this. And if you want more information in detail and further clarification, you can contact us or contact Hong Kong Ministry of Commerce for getting more information. So thank you.
Thanks for Benny's interpretation. Next, Ms. Ying Jun from Bank of Shanghai will present facilitation of regional headquarters funds utilization.
Hello, everyone. I am Ying Jun from International Business Department of Bank of Shanghai, and being worked on in banks on international settlements, trade financing, and compliance management over 20 years. I had gone through many changes of related guiding policies. But not in recent years or nowadays, I feel very strong and obviously that the policy tendency is to push banks and other institutions to improve cross-border settlements convenience by following some basic principles like trade genuineness and rationality. So today I will share with you some information in regard to promote development of regional headquarters of multinational companies. At the end of the year, by the end of the year 2019, the bank's asset scale is more than 2 trillion yen. Bank of Shanghai has established branch network and business presence covering the major cities in Yangtze River Delta, Bohai Rim, Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area, Central and Western area. You see, those cities or places have covered most of the developed area in mainland China. And among banks like Bank of Shanghai, it is the only one who has established one subsidiary in Hong Kong, operating commercial and investment business. As you see in this page, cross-border financing is one of the most important strategic businesses of the bank. Compared to other banks, the bank has established a unique cross-border financial service platform, which is supported by 4 parts, including its subsidiary in Hong Kong, the Corporation of Bank of Shanghai Alliance in Shanghai, Hong Kong, and Taiwan, the strategic partnership with Banco Santander, and the correspondent banking network, including over 1,000 domestic and foreign banks in over 100 countries and regions. I think names showed on the right side of this page must be familiar to you. They are some of the important customers which the bank provides with professional cross-border service. So with the featured products and professional service, the bank supports not only going out companies, but also bringing in ones to develop globally. Okay, so back to the main topic today, the facilitation related to funds utilization of multinational companies' regional headquarters. As you may know, Shanghai is the city with the largest number of regional headquarters in mainland China. By the end of last year, Shanghai has attracted 720 regional headquarters. I think it is exactly due to the favorable environment here and the series of beneficial policies on promoting development of regional headquarters of multinational companies released since 2002 played an important role. If you have any interests, you can find these policies listed here in more details in internet. The main points of those policies include easing standards for defining the regional headquarters of multinational companies, improving the facility of funds utilization like cross-border cash pooling service, which I will explain in more details later, supporting new business model like offshore trade, and other policies guidelines on logistics, research and development, talents, etc. What I showed in this page is a very important banking product or services provided to regional headquarters. That is cross-border cash pooling. So what is cross-border cash pooling? This page will show some introduction to this kind of service. As you see, Company A and Company B are the ones registered in China, and A plays the role as the regional headquarters of multinational company, and Company C is the relevant one registered overseas. Company A and B open the domestic bank account respectively, and meanwhile, Company C open non-resident account, which we always call the NRA account with the bank inside China. Then Company A could apply for establishing the cross-border cash pooling, which includes 3 ones. And when they meet some requirements, such as these group members have real business background and a sound cross-border fund management framework. Company A's account will be treated as a main account of the pool. What benefits may be the next question. That is, what is the real difference with and without the pool? As you may know, according to the policies related by State Administrative of Foreign Exchange, cross-border receiving and paying amount must be with trade genuineness and conducted between the trade parties directly. And once quota, if any, is not allowed to be shared with others. But now with the cross-border cash pooling, Company A could operate domestic and overseas funds in Company B and C's account, and to carry out fund collection, transfer, settlement, etc., in accordance with the group business model. The quota of borrowing overseas debts by A and B, and the quota of lending by A and B to its relevant company outside China now can be shared by the pool members through A's account. For funds receivable and payable on the current account, the group could conduct net settlement for their domestic and overseas members instead of gross settlement. And the pool also supports real-time transfer. Moreover, the settlement can be conducted both in RMB, and foreign currencies. So the cross-border pooling, cash pooling, is very helpful to group management. Okay, this page is a simple explanation of the offshore trade model. Offshore trade refers to a trade model in which the goods are transferred directly from the exporting country to the importing country without entering the border of the middle country, where the payments, contracts, insurances, as well as other trading documentations are processed. Based on the function of a regional headquarters, offshore trade is a very important way for group operation. And as an international trade center, Shanghai government in recent years has introduced policies and regulations to promote development of offshore trade. As shown in this page, Company A is the regional headquarters of the multinationals registered in China and plays the role of centralizing and allocating the resources of the supply chain. But the trade flow is from Company C to Company B directly. According to the policies, Company A will conduct the offshore business conveniently, as well as it is approved as a regional headquarters of multinational group and meets the requirements of whitelist. So banks will make the settlements more smoothly and efficiently according to their KYC procedure. So the new measures will certainly boost the city's development as an international trade center. Besides better services I just mentioned of cross-border cash pooling and offshore trade settlements, there are many other guidelines supporting regional headquarters operation. For example, foreign employees are allowed to make foreign exchange with legal RMB income and remit out of China. If they are interested in Chinese security markets, nowadays it's possible for them to do some investment. What's more, foreign talents with special skills and foreign celebrities are encouraged to apply for Chinese permanent resident permits. In regarding financial markets, Shanghai will support qualified regional headquarters and organizations acting as regional headquarters to raise capital by issuing bonds and stocks, and to enter Shanghai's gold market to conduct gold business. As for research and development, the city will strengthen administrative protection of intellectual property and optimize the service system. To ensure the Shanghai government nowadays has kept adjusting policies to improve the business environment to meet the various reasonable demands of international group. Due to the time limit, I just can introduce some of those beneficial policies in Shanghai. If you want to know more about the policies, you can reach us at your convenience. That's all my presentation today. Thanks for your listening and watching.
Thanks for Ms. Jin's speech. Our next speaker is Chen Liang from FSG Business Backup Center. He will present talent policy sharing for regional headquarters and R&D centers of transitional cooperation in China.
Good afternoon. In this session, we will share with you the talent policy for regional headquarters and R&D centers of multinational companies in Shanghai. I'm Chen Liang from the Welfare and Social Security Center of the FSG Business Backup Center. I'm now responsible for talent recruitment of employees without Shanghai hukou, that is, Shanghai permanent residents. In today's sharing, I will mainly elaborate In today's sharing, I will mainly elaborate on the following three aspects. First, I will give you an introduction on the current situation of talents in Shanghai. In the second part, I will summarize the preferential talent policy for regional headquarters and R&D centers of multinational companies in Shanghai. Last but not least, I will share with you a typical case we have encountered in our services. Now, please allow me to the first part, an introduction on the current situation of talents in Shanghai. Shanghai is an international metropolis pursuing excellence. Shanghai is speeding up its development as an international center for economy, finance, trade, shipping, technology, as well as a cultural metropolis with global influence. The core competitiveness of metropolis is based on its ability to attract enterprises. In recent years, thanks to the continuous optimization of business environment in Shanghai, especially after the inclusion of building Shanghai into a scientific and technological innovation center into the major national strategies, more and more companies has increased number of corporations, including those listed in the Fortune Global 500, have set up branches in Shanghai. Among them, a large number of multinational companies have established their regional headquarters and R&D centers in Shanghai. Take the customers served by FSG as an example. Foreign-funded enterprises account for 70% of the customers served by FSG, and 85% of enterprises listed in the Fortune Global 500 are FSG customers. In the business service industry, Japan, Hong Kong, and the United States have the largest number of foreign-funded enterprises in Shanghai. In the electronic, semiconductor industry, and the financial industry, Japan and the United States have the largest number. And in the IT-related industry, the United States had the largest number. Except for manufacturing companies and steel and chemical companies, most companies are engaged in industry that are the pillar industry for Shanghai's development in the future. It is impossible for an enterprise to achieve development and prosperity without an appropriate talent acquisition and attraction framework. Talents are the most important resources and a cornerstone for enterprises' innovation and development. However, on the other hand, Shanghai had also made it clear that it will transform existing patterns of urban development, alleviate the tension between rapid population growth and the resources and the environmental constraints. In addition, Shanghai will also strictly control the size of its population with an aim to keep its official permanent population at about 25 million by 2035. The 2019 census put Shanghai's total permanent population at 24,281,000, increased by 43,600 compared with the previous year. Under the premise of controlling the total population, how to develop a skilled talent pool and attracting high-quality talents has become an urgent issue to be solved. To this end, Shanghai introduced a series of new policies for talent acquisition and attraction, including the 30 talent policies. As a metropolis with an open and inclusive mind, Shanghai is attracting talent both at home and abroad, among which talents without Shanghai hukou account for a large proportion. Taking FSG's target market as an example, the current ratio of employees with Shanghai hukou to those without Shanghai hukou is about 1:3. If an employee without Shanghai hukou has a stable job, income, and social circle in Shanghai, he will naturally seek to settle in Shanghai over time. After obtaining Shanghai hukou, the employee will be entitled to preferential policy for property purchase and health care. Once the employee gets married and has children, his or her children can enjoy educational resources and higher retirement benefits in Shanghai in a more convenient manner. To attract these talents, it is necessary to give full play to the effective incentive effect of the household registration policy. In the second part, we will discuss the talent policy for Chinese residents and the preferential talent policy for regional headquarters and R&D centers of multinational companies in Shanghai. With an aim to ensure a stable policy expectation for talents without Shanghai hukou, Shanghai Municipal Human Resources and Social Security Bureau has introduced a clear and interconnected policy framework for talent acquisition and attraction featured with 3 gradients, that is, Shanghai Resident Permit and a point earning system, transfer from resident permit to hukou, and the direct issuance of Shanghai hukou. This framework takes into account the different needs of all kinds of talents and help build talent pools in Shanghai. With the establishment of the strategic goal of Shanghai to develop headquarters economy and to build Shanghai into a scientific and a technological innovation center with global influence, many more priority had been given to the talent policies for regional headquarters and R&D centers. To obtain a Shanghai hukou, employees shall meet the following requirements. First, educational requirements. In general, the employee shall have a doctorate degree or a bachelor degree or above in a foreign country. Second, time requirements. For stable employment in Shanghai, in general, the employee shall hold a Shanghai resident permit for at least 7 years. Third, wage requirements. The employee shall have paid at least a total of RMB 1 million yuan of personal income tax in the past 4 years. Many employees cannot meet above requirements to obtain Shanghai hukou in a short time. However, once a company is identified as a regional headquarters or R&D center of a multinational company, for professional technical employees, managerial staff, and the core members of innovation team in such company, those who have a bachelor degree or above, and have worked in such company for not less than 2 years can apply for Shanghai hukou. This is significantly reduce the requirements for applicants and help companies attract and retain talents. FSG's data in recent years has also proved points. In the past 3 years, FSG has assisted a total of 965 employees working in regional headquarters and R&D centers to obtain Shanghai hukou, accounting for 39% of the total number of new Shanghai permanent residents in the same period. The success rate of obtaining Shanghai hukou among these employees is 85%, which is 70% higher than among ordinary employees in the same period. Among the 965 employees who have successfully obtained Shanghai hukou, 667 employees meet the regular requirements for obtaining Shanghai hukou. The remaining 298 employees will not be able to obtain Shanghai hukou through conventional means in ordinary enterprises. They obtained Shanghai hukou because they were entitled to the preferential talent policy for regional headquarters and R&D centers of multinational companies in Shanghai. From the perspective of talent sources, 463 employees were overseas returnees, accounting for 48% of the total number of talent introduced. Among them, 93% of international students graduated from the top 500 universities in the world. The top 3 places to study abroad are the United States, Britain, and France. From the perspective of educational level, among the introduced talents, 30% had a bachelor degree, 15% had a master's degree, 16.67% had a doctorate degree, and only 3.33% had a degree lower than a bachelor degree. Talents with a master's degree have become the mainstay of talent acquisition. In terms of age structure, young talents aged 35 or under accounted for 60%, they also create an unstoppable force of sustainable development potential for the enterprise they are working in. Therefore, the identification of an entity as the regional headquarters or R&D centers of multinational company will effectively help its employees to apply for Shanghai Hukou. In our actual practice, we have had the following cases. After graduated with a master's degree from a well-known university in China and years of hard work, an employee was promoted gradually from a frontline employee to the head of the core product department in a company. After setting up a family in Shanghai, he was increasingly aware of the importance of Shanghai Hukou to himself and his children. He is increasingly eager to become a permanent resident in Shanghai. However, in his early years in Shanghai, he did not understand the requirements for obtaining a Shanghai Hukou, so he did not apply for Shanghai resident permit in time and cannot meet the time requirements for applying a Shanghai Hukou. Although his income is high, his tax bill shows that the personal income tax he had paid in the past 4 years has not yet accumulated to RMB 1 million yuan. In addition, because he graduated from a university in China, he was not entitled to the talent policy for overseas returnees. Therefore, it appeared that he could not meet the requirements for obtaining Shanghai Hukou. Meanwhile, he also learned that many of his classmates who had just a bachelor degree also had obtained Shanghai Hukou through various channels. As a result, he ended up lost in confusion and even planned to leave Shanghai because of a lack of belonging. At this time, his company was identified as the regional headquarters of a multinational company. Taking advantage of this opportunity, he successfully obtained Shanghai Hukou by using the talent acquisition policy. His sons and children also obtained Shanghai Hukou. This solved the issue that had plagued him for many years. This is just a typical case among many successful cases. By making full use of the talent policy, the employee successfully obtained a Shanghai Hukou, and the company also successfully retained a core talent, thus laying a solid foundation for its development in the future. Just now, I shared with you the preferential talent policy for regional headquarters and R&D centers of multinational companies in Shanghai. On account of time available to us, this concludes our sharing today. If you want to know more about Shanghai's talent policy, you can follow FSG official website and contact us directly. We have further discussion after the meeting. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.
It's 9.
Okay. Thanks, Chen Liang. Let's welcome our last speaker, Kelly Tsai, to give an introduction of Cinemas Plaza.
Hi, it's nice to meet everyone here. It's my pleasure to present our project, Cinemas Plaza, to all of you. And for my introduction, is totally 4 parts. And the first part is a project summary. And the second part is project advantages. And the third part is facility and service. And the fourth part is office community. For the first part, that's, you know, the Cinemas Plaza is the tallest building in Puxi, and it's fake. Outside, it's unique. It's very unique. It's like a Mongolia flower shaped. And in our project, it's a comprehensive complex composed with hotel, retail, and office. And the blooming Mongolian flower in China, it means the fortune. The blooming flower is fortune. So we think it's good, can bring more fortune to our tenants. And this part is transportation accessibility. And our project is above the Metro Line 12 and station is international cruise. And this Metro Line 12 can connect it to Line 1, Line 2, and almost all the main Metro line in Shanghai. And 3 tunnels nearby our project can convenience connect to Pudong and push it to everywhere. Then this is the data of our project. The office total height is the 320 meters. And the levels is from the 5th floor to 67th floor. Net ceiling height is 3.05. And the passenger lift total we have is 28 and 2 cargo lifts. And we also have the 6 double desk shuttle lifts in this building. And for the W Hotel, part of this project is 374 rooms. And in our shopping mall, it's around 350 shops. Then the advantage of this building, this building is green and intelligent. And this is also have very fabulous view. And this is actual picture from our tenants. And you can see very, very nice and fabulous view here. And this is a typical floor plan. And for the whole floor, we generally is 2,700 square meters. And we subdivide into eight units. And we can connect it to each or 2 or 3 the flexible connected the units together and according to tenants' requirements. This is a handover condition. For the whole floor, we have 2,600 square meters. And the risk floor is 115 millimeters. And the net ceiling height is 3.05. And we appoint JLL as our property management office, and they can provide a professional property service. This is a picture of our main lobby. It's in the lobby, the ceiling height is 10 meters, and we use Schindler elevators S7000. It's high speed. And we also use the port system. It can intelligently dispatch the adjacent floors people to one cargo and ensure the safe and efficient. And we also have the fluent system to monitor and display the air quality interior in real time. The AC system effectively can filter more than 90% PM2.5, the particularities. And we also get LEED certification, like LEED Gold Award and the 2-star green building design in China. And the architecture design for this building is SOM. And for the mall is Benoit, and other famous design company for this building. This is we win almost all the top grade domestic architecture awards. And this is a real picture from our tenants. The third part is the facility and the service. In our shopping mall, there are many retail formats like cinema, KTV entertainment, food and beverage retail, supermarket, kids and family. And we also have some restaurants like Wolfgang, one of the best steakhouse in Shanghai, the Diandude Cantonese dim sum with only IMB 48 per head. Sorry, only IMB 48 per head is cheap but delicious. And Japanese cuisine, Sichuan cuisine, hot pot, Thai style, Japanese cuisine. And also we have the cinema and the fitness gym. The beverage like the Starbucks and the Bacon Spice. And also the popular retails. Then the W Hotel. W Hotel is part of Merit International Group. It's famous with his fashion design music. This is a distinct interior of the rooms. It's traditional Shanghai alleyways fused with modern city fashion. And it's the ballroom, it's around 2,000 square meters. It's also the one of the largest ballroom in Shanghai. And this ballroom can accommodate up to 1,000 people for events or conference. The fourth part is tenants and office community. We have the tenants like Daimler, BMW, Volvo, Nissan, and also the famous law firm in China, and also the law firm from UK. And YKK is the largest manufacturer of zips, and also the KOS, top 3 commerce company in Japan, and Qihoo, a technology company, the largest internet security company, and the game company like the PUBG. It's very famous, the game, like the slogan like winner, winner, chicken dinner, and the Unity. They give the professional the 3D modeling and the game R&D. And also the local bank, and also the international like American Express and the Capital Group. And also not only in our building, not only we provide office, we also organize some very interesting activities. This picture is our floricultural activities on Mother's Day, and also Tai Chi Kung Prime Learning in our building in fragment time, and the photography activities for our tenants in weekend. And this is 2 picture is photography works from our tenants. And we also have yoga events in our transfer lobby and the roof in lunch break time. And the tenants held their family day activities in our transfer lobby in weekend. And finally, this is a tenant Bayern football clubs make their wish in our fake LED screen. And I take this opportunity to congratulations to Bayern. They finally get the UEFA champion leaguers yesterday. And I want to say is what we provide is not only office. We can go through, sing and sit with our tenants, and also we grow with our tenants and the Hongkou District. Thank you. And you can, if any inquiries, can contact me and my colleague. Thank you.
We want to thank our guest speakers, and we want to thank you all for listening. We hope you found the webinar informative. There's numerous multinational companies that has chosen to base their regional headquarters in the Hongkou District due to the resource of district has to offer. These multinational companies include Pacific International Lines, Siam Mars App China, BMW R&D Center. Our next webinar would be in late September. Please stay tuned. If you have other topics that you are interested, please leave us a message. Thank you all again, and see you in September.
Sinar Mass Plaza.